Lin Tianhao figures he should just forget it for now and wait, but the system suddenly notifies him about the Cold Valley Abyss completion chest, reminding him that he still hasn't had time to check the loot. Since it's already there, he might as well see what he gets. Before he can do that, however, a new mail catches him by surprise. It turns out to be the historical record gift pack, though the title "The Fastest Man" immediately leaves him wondering what that's even supposed to mean. Whatever, he decides to forget about it because checking the gift pack is clearly more important. The system informs him that opening it will randomly reward high-level Black Abyss equipment, materials, potions, and other items. So he opens it, though he decides to check the completion chest first. The first reward is Guardian Armor, usable by all classes. Since he actually gets a piece of armor, he figures his luck isn't bad, and with another box still waiting, he moves straight to the next one. The chest unlocks itself, catching Lin Tianhao off guard as a silver-grade ice necklace appears. He can't believe it actually drops silver-grade equipment. Equipment is divided into 9 tiers. No grade, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, radiant, legendary, and divine, so getting silver-grade gear this early basically feels like heaven giving him a helping hand. He equips the new items immediately, and the difference is obvious. Having actual gear really does change things, leaving him pleased with how much his stats improve. On top of that, he still has 2 skill points, and there's absolutely no reason to hesitate. He's going all in. The system confirms the upgrade, raising fully armed to level 3. Protecting summoned beasts now consumes less spirit power, doubles their stats, and lasts for 200 seconds. The upgrade works perfectly, and he figures it should save him plenty of time while running dungeons. With that handled, the next target is the slime. The demon slime reaches level 9, and Lin Tianhao figures a sacrifice of 100 should be enough. However, the new option immediately catches his attention. He wonders if this is an advancement, and whether he can actually advance again. The system requests sacrificial blood, and informs him that there are 6 levels remaining until advancement. Now he's curious about what advancing will actually do, especially whether it will give him new skills, so he checks for more information. Unfortunately, there isn't a description at all. With nothing else to work with, he decides to advance first and find out afterward. He selects yes. His HP currently sits at 1,100, and he patiently waits for the advancement to finish. The system soon confirms that the sacrifice is successful, but his maximum HP immediately drops to 500. Now it's coming. The demon slime begins twirling while releasing a powerful aura, creating a disturbance throughout the area. The violent wind whips across his face hard enough to leave him coughing profusely, while the swirling aura in front of him continues growing more intense. Then, without warning, the demon slime's advanced form is finally revealed, leaving him completely taken aback. At the Black Abyss Plaza, Su Qing points out that the meeting time has already arrived, and wonders where Lin Tianhao has run off to. Li Sui reminds her that she can simply check his location through the team panel, and Su Qing immediately agrees before pulling it up to see what he is doing all the way inside the forest. Since he is nowhere near the plaza, she decides that they should go find him, while Li Sui calls for her to wait up. Meanwhile, Lin Tianhao is busy watching the demon slime undergo its transformation, only to wonder what exactly it is becoming. As her new form is finally revealed, she lets out a cheerful chirp, and the result leaves him completely stunned and flustered. The biggest problem is painfully obvious because she is not wearing any clothes. The moment she notices him, she gets excited and immediately rushes over. Lin Tianhao panics over what she is trying to do, but she lunges straight at him anyway, making him scream as he loses his balance and falls onto his back, with her pouncing right on top of him. She looks ridiculously happy about the whole thing, while he is sweating buckets and turning beet red. Since she cannot understand his reaction, he finally grabs her arm and firmly reminds himself that no matter what happens, there is absolutely no way he is going to react to a summoned creature. Trying to solve this disaster before it gets any worse, he pulls a t-shirt from his inventory and hands it over. She stares at the shirt in complete confusion for a moment, then casually absorbs it into her body instead, and proudly shows off her achievement like she just solved the problem. Lin Tianhao can only correct her, explaining that the shirt is supposed to be worn, before guiding her to raise her arm. At this point, he cannot help wondering whether this somehow makes him an accidental dad. However, something interesting happens right after that, because he notices that her defense has increased by 0.1. This immediately makes him wonder whether summoned creatures can actually use professional equipment, or whether this is only possible because she now has a humanoid form. With that mystery added to the list, he decides to inspect the advanced slime's new stats and discovers that she has gained 2 additional skills. One appears to be an area of effectability, while the other seems to be a single target attack skill. From the details, Corrosive Acid Rain appears to be an upgraded skill, while Demon's Embrace is most likely obtained automatically through advancement. Both abilities look pretty strong, so Lin Tianhao decides that he definitely needs to test them when he gets the chance. Elsewhere, Su Qing is still following his location and cannot understand why Lin Tianhao has gone so ridiculously deep into the forest. After checking the map again, she notices that they are already close and urges Lu Zui to keep up because he should be right ahead. Not long after, she finally finds him crouching in front of the demon slime. Li Sui arrives right behind her, exhausted from the trip, only to become flustered the moment she sees what he is doing. Su Qing immediately confronts him over the situation, while Lin Tianhao is equally confused about why she is there. Instead of explaining normally, she wonders whether they have interrupted his good deeds, and that one comment practically petrifies him on the spot. Then she goes for the finishing blow and calls him a pervert. A few moments later, after the misunderstanding is finally addressed, she defends herself by pointing out that there was no way she could have known the girl was actually the advanced slime, especially when he never explained anything. Lin Tianhao fires back that she never exactly gave him the chance. With that mess settled, he wonders why everyone has come all the way out here. Su Qing reminds him that the meeting time has already passed and points out that they cannot exactly enter the Black Abyss without finding him first. Lin Tianhao admits that he was resting here and simply forgot to check the time. Right then, the system appears with a confirmation prompt for entry into the Cold Valley Abyss. With everyone finally gathered, Lin Tianhao decides they should head straight in, and the others agree. A bright light flashes around them, transporting the group out of the forest. Meanwhile, over at Cold Valley Abyss, Murong Yu and his team have already slaughtered a huge number of giant snow rabbits. Murong Shui points out that they have cleared everything, yet there is still no sign of it. Murong Yu stares at his blood-covered sword, his face reflected across the blade, and concludes that someone has beaten them to it. He can hardly believe another team actually reached it first. Yu Hong wonders what they should do now, while Pong Yi proposes offering whoever took it a high price and simply buying it back. Yu Hong immediately calls him stupid because, first of all, this is a 1,000-year mythical beast, and second, their objective is part of a secret mission, meaning they obviously cannot announce the whole thing to the world. Song Xiaolun wonders whether another guild could have snatched it first, but Murong Shu shuts everyone down, calling them a bunch of idiots. No other guild possesses the fragments, so none of them should have known the unicorn had awakened. The only reasonable possibility is that some rogue team already inside the abyss accidentally encountered it and somehow managed to take it down. Murong Yu agrees with her reasoning. The abyss has been showing signs of instability, causing the beast to awaken earlier than expected, so aside from them, the Golden Lions, no other guild should have known about it beforehand. Now that the mythical beast is dead and the abyss itself is acting up, the difficulty level is about to spike, leaving him wondering who on earth actually defeated it. Murong Shui figures the answer should be simple. Since only a handful of teams have recently come out of the abyss, they can just kill them all and take the beast back, especially that arrogant little punk. Murong Yu immediately rejects that idea because the Golden Lion Guild does not slaughter innocent people. More importantly, anyone capable of defeating a hidden boss cannot possibly be weak. His suspicion instead falls on the summoner who recently broke the record, Lin Tianhao, but before Murong Shui can continue protesting, he cuts the discussion short. For now, they will report everything back to HQ and decide their next move afterward. With that settled, everyone prepares to return to the guild. Murong Yu drives his sword into the ground, activating a teleportation array, and the entire team disappears in an instant. Meanwhile, Lin Tianhao complains that it is still freezing out there, while Su Qing urges them to hurry along. He sighs over having to deal with that princess again, and the three of them make their way into the forest. As they reach the first corrupted direwolf spawn point, Su Qing decides this is the perfect place for her to warm up against the little beastie. She spots movement behind the tall grass and confidently prepares the incoming monster to experience the claws of a lady. Except one direwolf does not appear. Several corrupted direwolves suddenly charge straight toward them. Li Shui counts 5 direwolves, while Lin Tianhao wonders why the monster count at the very first spawn point has suddenly quintupled. Su Qing could not care less whether there are 5 of them because she plans to wipe them all out in one hit. Then calls for Li Shui. Li Shui confirms that she is ready and immediately activates her skill. With the timing lined up perfectly, Su Qing tears into the direwolves one after another with her claws, dealing massive damage and brushing the whole thing off as way too easy. Li Sui observes that her upgraded damage is already approaching 400 in a single strike, which is exactly the kind of ridiculous output expected from a combat class. Lin Tianhao, however, looks troubled. Su Qing remains completely confident that no matter how many direwolves appear, she will simply take them down one by one. Lin Tianhao instead questions why even more direwolves are appearing and whether this can really be a coincidence. Su Qing cuts him off and urges him to hurry up and catch up, while he decides that once they reach the next spawn point, the truth should become clear. The sky turns dark as birds suddenly flee the forest, and Lin Tianhao immediately remarks that something is wrong there. Meanwhile, Su Qing calls out to Li Shui to keep buffing, planning to clear the place out herself, but Li Shui urges her to calm down. Before they can do anything else, the ground suddenly starts shaking, catching Lin Tianhao off guard as he wonders what is happening. Su Qing urges everyone to stay calm, but a mound of snow suddenly bulges up right in front of them, and a corrupted zombie crawls out from beneath it. Lin Tianhao quickly figures out that they have been hiding under the snow and identifies the whole setup as a hunting formation. Sure enough, the 3 of them are already surrounded by corrupted zombies and direwolves. Su Qing points out just how many enemies there are, while Li Sui wonders what they are supposed to do. Lin Tianhao notices that these attacks are nothing like the random ones from before, and begins wondering whether the monsters have somehow developed intelligence. Right then, the corrupted zombie launches its attack. Li Sui screams, but Su Qing protects her, while Lin Tianhao urges them to get up quickly. After letting out a deep breath, he faces the corrupted zombie head-on, only for the direwolves to attack him from every direction at the same time. Su Qing declares that they are completely done for as one direwolf opens its jaws and prepares to bite him. Lin Tianhao, however, remains completely unfazed and simply scoffs before activating his summon skill and bringing out the demon slime. At the same time, a strange phenomenon erupts at the entrance of the abyss. One of the men wonders what is going on as another points out that the ground itself is shaking, only to become horrified when he notices movement coming from the entrance. People suddenly come flying out while crying for help, horrifying everyone outside so badly that one person even barfs at the sight. One of the security guards demands to know what the hell is happening, and one of the people thrown out reveals that the abyss is erupting. The guard is stunned, unable to understand what an abyss eruption even means. But the situation gets much worse when the system announces that the professional is deceased and will be transported to the Hall of the Fallen in 5 seconds. The guard struggles to understand how this is even happening, while another person points out the brutal truth that all of them are already dead. Then, the entrance activates again. Except this time, human skulls start getting launched out of it. Everyone panics as even more skeletons appear, only for their system panels to suddenly pop up in front of them. The notification reveals that the abyss difficulty has changed and is now set to nightmare. At that level, they know there is absolutely no way they can handle it. So the guard immediately orders them to notify the mayor that the black abyss has erupted. Meanwhile, Lin Tianhao is still surrounded by direwolves ready to maul him, and he summons the demon slime. One of the direwolves lunges straight at him with its jaws open, but he does not even flinch. Before it can hurt him, the demon slime appears and protects him. And the corrupted zombies are instantly taken aback when they feel the strength of her attack. The corrupted zombie barely manages to dodge the demon slime's attack, trembling in fear as he looks over the lifeless direwolves scattered across the ground. Lin Tianhao then leaps into the air with the demon slime riding on his back, leaving Su Qing impressed by how strong he is, while Li Shui calls him incredible. However, Lin Tianhao decides they should fall back for the time being, so Li Shui leaves everything to him while Su Qing agrees. Even so, she can't shake the feeling that these monsters are stronger than before, making her wonder whether Lin Tianhao can really handle them alone. But Li Shui remains confident that he can pull it off. Soon, the corrupted zombies and wolf kings gather directly in front of Lin Tianhao, and he challenges them to come at him because he plans to beat them so badly that their mom won't even recognize them. Yeah, he really goes there. The corrupted zombies immediately roar in rage, while the Wolf Kings answer with furious howls. Then, one corrupted zombie straight up throws a Wolf King at Lin Tianhao as the other Wolf King attacks him from behind. With attacks closing in from both directions, he orders Slime to hold them off, and she instantly launches her tentacles toward them. The Wolf King shifts aside to evade, but it still gets hit. Watching this unfold, Li Shui worries about what will happen with their captain being attacked from both sides, while Su Qing considers how Wolf Kings are on a completely different level from normal direwolves, meaning Lin Tianhao is already in serious danger. Lin Tianhao quickly orders Slime to defend, and she retracts her tentacles around herself as protection. The Wolf King immediately bites into them, making Li Shui scream while Su Qing cries out in alarm. But there's a nasty little surprise waiting for it. Slime's tentacles keep dealing critical hits. Li Shui points out that their HP is dropping, and Su Qing confirms that the slime's mucus is corrosive, meaning those two Wolf Kings are basically done for. Except the Wolf King opens its mouth and takes another bite anyway. The girls can hardly believe it because even while its HP continues falling, the Wolf King bites again like self-preservation has officially left the chat. Lin Tianhao finds the situation more interesting, but Li Shui worries about what they should do now that the defense line is breaking. Su Qing instructs her to keep healing her, and she immediately agrees. Then the corrupted zombies join the attack. They rush toward the Wolf Kings to support them, prompting Li Shui to warn Lin Tianhao that they're charging in. At the same time, the Wolf Kings viciously tear through Slime's defense despite continuing to lose Pu. Lin Tianhao grows agitated as he wonders whether they're coordinating again, becoming increasingly convinced that they really do possess intelligence. Suddenly, Li Shui warns him to watch out. Su Qing demands to know what she's doing and whether she has gone crazy, while Li Shui worries about what will happen to Lin Tianhao. Su Qing promises she'll figure something out, then turns away from her with a dark expression. In her mind, she curses as she wonders whether she has any choice left except to use it. It is a vitality position that temporarily boosts physical stats for 1 minute, but there's one brutal downside. Once the effect ends, she takes double damage. At that point, she decides to screw it. Lin Tianhao calls out to Slime that enough is enough and orders her to strike immediately, while Su Qing wonders what is going on. The corrupted zombies are suddenly blasted backward and crash onto the ground, making Li Shui wonder if they really just got sent flying. Even the snow covering the area is blown away, and once everything settles, they finally see Slime gripping one of the Wolf Kings with her tentacles. At the same time, Lin Tianhao releases a powerful aura as his eyes turn red, then opens his hand and activates Embrace of the Demon. The Wolf King screams in pain while Slime crushes it, dealing damage as its flesh disappears and its exposed bones begin sizzling. She finally drops what remains, and the system notifies him that the zombie Wolf King has been slain, awarding experience. Li Shui immediately celebrates, while Su Qing wonders if he seriously just crushed a level 10 zombie Wolf King with his bare hands. Meanwhile, the other Wolf King trembles in fear beside the corrupted zombies, but suddenly, one of them picks up a hammer and pounds it into the ground before grabbing another one. Right after that, the other corrupted zombies lift the one holding both hammers and activate their fusion skill, Wrought Hammer Storm. One of the corrupted zombies digs their feet into the ground for driving force, then starts turning around while still holding the hammer-wielding one. Lin Tianhao wonders what the hell he is looking at, and whether this thing is basically a zombie tornado. Su Qing recognizes it as a fusion skill and wonders how low-level Black Abyss monsters can even use something like this. After fusing, both their defense and attack power skyrocket, meaning Lin Tianhao will not be able to hold out much longer. So she calls out and warns him to watch out. The tornado keeps growing larger, and Slime quickly wraps a tentacle around Lin Tianhao's waist before carrying him away as she jumps clear of it. He calls out to her, and she attacks the tornado with another tentacle. But the limb is instantly shredded apart, sending liquid flying everywhere as both of them are blown away. Lin Tianhao curses that one more hit will mean game over, while Li Shui wonders what they are supposed to do now. Su Qing calls out to Lin Tianhao that she has not given him permission to die yet, then drinks the vitality potion and drops the vial, which shatters against the ground. Her body immediately releases a fierce flame as the fire engulfs her, burning away her clothes while she transforms. Li Shui is stunned by the transformation as Su Qing activates Bear Spirit form. She launches herself off the ground, lunges straight at the tornado and mauls the entire thing in half. Li Shui identifies it as a bear, but the shock is too much, and she faints before collapsing onto the snowy ground. Su Qing admits she never expected the potion to actually help her break through into the white bear form, but there is no time to dwell on that because Slime is already struggling to protect Lin Tianhao from the tornado. Knowing she has to hurry and help, she lunges forward and unleashes a ferocious roar. Lin Tianhao wonders why even more monsters are showing up, then calls Slime back and curses because he still cannot shake them off. Completely unaware that the bear is actually Su Qing, he freezes when it suddenly leaps above him, convinced that it is finally over and he is seriously going to die there today. He closes his eyes and braces for impact, only to feel absolutely nothing. Confused, he notices the bear has gone straight past him. Then Su Qing calls out to him, urging him to stop standing around and attack already. Lin Tianhao finally wonders if the bear is actually Su Qing before activating Demon Slime's embrace. At once, Slime's tentacles stretch to an incredible length while she releases a powerful aura, and Su Qing recognizes this as Lin Tianhao's true power. However, the corrupted zombies slam her back with their hammers. She cries out in pain and crashes onto the ground as its head begins turning again, digging its feet into the ground so it can rotate its entire body. Su Qing urgently calls Lin Tianhao, warning him to hurry because it is about to use the fusion skill again. Lin Tianhao fires back that there is no way he is letting it pull the same move twice, then directs Slime's tentacles straight toward them. She immediately wraps the corrupted zombies in her tentacles and restrains them, and the moment Lin Tianhao clenches his fist, they burst into flames. Su Qing celebrates because they have finally defeated it, but the victory lasts about 2 seconds before she suddenly breaks into a heavy sweat as a sharp pain hits her. Lin Tianhao agrees that things worked out, especially since her arrival saved him from getting completely finished off, but he still wonders why he has never seen her transform into a bear before. Meanwhile, Su Qing's HP drops by a massive amount, and she wonders if the double penalty is finally kicking in. The pain intensifies, forcing a scream out of her as she drops to her knees. Lin Tianhao wonders what is happening, but before he can figure it out, she collapses completely. Her transformation disappears, and he calls out her name in alarm. Noticing that she has only 10 HP left, he recognizes that even one light hit could finish her off. He forces himself not to panic and immediately gives her a healing potion. After drinking it, Su Qing regains consciousness, while the remaining fur covering her body begins shedding. Lin Tianhao finally breathes a sigh of relief, grateful that she is okay. Then he suddenly wonders why something feels so soft. The moment he sees what it is, his face turns completely red. Su Qing notices Lin Tianhao and immediately demands to know what he is doing, only to scream that he is a pervert. Lin Tianhao practically calls on the heavens to witness his innocence, but while protesting that he has been wronged, he loses his balance and crashes to the ground. Su Qing quickly equips another set of clothes, then calls Lin Tianhao's name with pure fury. He insists that she is the one who did that, not him, but she warns that if he dares to tell anyone, she will kill him. Meanwhile, he quietly wonders if she is actually embarrassed. She presses him to make sure he heard her, and he quickly agrees, claiming he did not see anything earlier. Only then does she let go of him, though she still warns him to watch his mouth unless he wants to be done for. He admits that she is seriously not playing around. With that awkward disaster handled, she brings up checking on Li Sui, while he reassures her that he will take what happened straight to his grave. The two head toward the rock and find Li Sui snoring on the ground like nothing happened. Lin Tianhao remarks that she seriously has a strong heart, then calls for her to wake up. She furrows her brows while struggling back to consciousness, but the moment she wakes, she suddenly screams for them not to eat her. Lin Tianhao points out that any monster planning to eat her would not have kept her alive this long, and since all the monsters have already been wiped out, the area is safe. She cautiously wonders if that is really true, and after he confirms it, she starts sobbing in relief that he is still alive. He gives the credit to Su Qing for arriving just in time, but she quickly shifts the conversation toward what they should do next. Lin Tianhao points out that they must have noticed the black abyss becoming much harder. Su Qing agrees, explaining that not only have the monsters increased in number, but their strength is also higher than before. Li Shui then wonders what they are supposed to do now. So Lin Tianhao suggests leaving the black abyss for the time being, since the current situation is clearly not in their favor. Li Shui immediately agrees because recklessly risking their lives would be stupid, and Su Qing agrees as well. With everyone on the same page, Lin Tianhao decides to leave. The system immediately warns him that exiting the instance early will reduce his level and requests confirmation, but after he confirms the exit, another notification appears. The exit has failed. Li Shui cannot understand how that is even possible, while Su Qing is just as stunned. Then, the system reveals the real problem. This is the beginner Cold Valley Abyss, with a recommended level of 1 to 10, except its special difficulty has become Nightmare. Lin Tianhao wonders if the difficulty of the Black Abyss has actually changed. Li Shui starts worrying that they may be trapped there, but Su Qing reassures her that even with the increased difficulty, this is still only the beginner Black Abyss, meaning it should not be unbeatable. Lin Tianhao agrees, pointing out that the level cap has not changed and only the difficulty has increased. However, Li Shui brings up the obvious problem. Even the regular monsters were ridiculously tough earlier, so the boss fight is probably going to be much worse. Because of that, Lin Tianhao decides that all of them need to reach level 10 as quickly as possible, though he cannot shake the bad feeling he has about the situation. Su Qing then calls Li Shui over and instructs her to follow. Li Shui wonders why they are not staying together, so Lin Tianhao explains that splitting up means they will not share expa, allowing everyone to level faster. Since he does not usually fight directly anyway, following him around would not help much. She understands and agrees that they will regroup there once everyone reaches level 10. With that, Lin Tianhao is left alone. 1 hour later, after defeating a huge number of monsters together with slime, Lin Tianhao finally reaches level 10. Completely exhausted from the grind, he can only celebrate the fact that he finally made it. Lin Tianhao explains that although the three of them can only level up to 10, the Black Abyss has no level limit for summons. The only catch is that his summons need sacrifices to raise their level, and right now, Demon Slime is already at level 15. Even so, he complains that the attribute increase is still painfully slow and wonders whether his class is the reason. If he can somehow speed up the hatching process, having one more summoned beast would take a lot of pressure off him, so he starts wondering whether that book contains a solution. And as it turns out, it actually does. Before he can go any further, a deafening roar suddenly tears through the area. He curses internally, already figuring the boss has woken up, while the snow ahead violently erupts. He warns that the roaming corpse leader has awakened. Meanwhile, Li Shui screams for help as the corpse leader's massive spiked weapon comes crashing toward them. Terrified, she trips, immediately drawing Su Qing's concern. Su Qing quickly changes direction and rushes back, activating Spirit Cat Shadow Step to save Li Shui. However, the corpse leader immediately throws its weapon after them. Li Shui panics because she is completely out of mana, and Su Qing becomes alarmed when the weapon comes flying toward them again. With no way to avoid it, she braces for the impact. The attack slams into her with brutal force. Pain tears through her body as she sweats heavily, gets blasted away, and loses a huge chunk of p. Lin Tianhao immediately calls for Slime. Slime expands her hair at once, catching both ladies before they crash down and successfully cushioning their impact. Lin Tianhao checks whether they are okay, but things are looking rough. Su Qing coughs from the pain, while Li Shui simply lies frozen on the ground, and Su Qing reveals that she can no longer feel her hand. Then, a powerful tornado suddenly forms. Lin Tianhao instantly goes on edge as the roaming corpse leader steps out from within it, its menacing eyes gleaming through the fog. Su Qing warns that they need to be careful because it is far stronger than before, while Lin Tianhao admits that it really has changed. Now, it looks much more like a human. The system immediately identifies the roaming corpse leader as a level 10 boss and displays its attributes. After seeing what they are dealing with, Su Qing warns that Lin Tianhao cannot defeat it and urges him to run. Unfortunately, the corpse leader stomps its foot and unleashes another thunderous roar before they can escape. Lin Tianhao points out that running is no longer an option as the system announces that they have officially entered combat. Still, he reminds himself that even on Nightmare difficulty, this is ultimately just the boss of the beginner-level Black Abyss. As long as they can shatter the crystal core on its chest, they still have a chance to survive. The corpse leader immediately commands the corrupted zombies and wolf kings to attack. Lin Tianhao orders Slime to activate Demon's Dance. She surges forward in a rapid zigzag pattern, melting every monster unlucky enough to cross her path before reaching the corpse leader itself. Lin Tianhao instantly activates full armament, and Slime follows by unleashing everything in her arsenal. Strong corrosive mucus, Demon's Dance, and Split. Her body divides into two, and both halves circle around the corpse leader from different directions, setting up their next attack. Slime slips past the corpse leader's foot, but somehow still lands an accurate hit on her and deals massive damage, leaving Lin Tianhao surprised. The corpse leader immediately swings its weapon at the other slime, sending her flying straight into a rock and smashing it into pieces. Lin Tianhao calls for her to come back, figuring this is bad, because Slime is clearly no match for it. Things only get worse when the corpse leader raises its weapon and resurrects the corrupted zombies and wolf kings. With the pressure piling up, Lin Tianhao decides to try the acceleration summoning spell he just saw. A magic circle appears beneath his feet as he begins chanting in front of the summon's egg, but since he is completely unguarded, every monster lunges at him at once. He curses as they close in, only for Su Qing to tear through them with her claws and quickly place herself between Lin Tianhao and the monsters to protect him. However, she suddenly coughs up blood. Lin Tianhao keeps chanting, but the corpse leader is already standing before him with its weapon raised overhead. He knows this is bad, and at this point, he is already too late. Suddenly, a golden light blocks the corpse leader's attack, shining so brightly that it reaches all the way to the top of the canyon. Lin Tianhao wonders what it is, and Li Shui reveals that it is a defense aura, catching him completely off guard. The corpse leader becomes enraged, while Li Shui warns him to hurry because her defense aura is only level 1 and will not hold for long. Lin Tianhao immediately focuses on finishing the chant. But moments later, the corpse leader shatters the defense aura and blows Li Shui away. Even so, Lin Tianhao remains unharmed, and more importantly, the egg is finally about to hatch. Slime uses all her strength to stop the corpse leader from reaching him, and Lin Tianhao finally declares that it is done. Her tentacles snap as the corpse leader pulls away from the restraints, but before it can continue, the egg suddenly releases a blinding light and a horn emerges from within. The corpse leader wastes no time and swings its weapon for another attack, only for the weapon itself to break the moment it strikes the golden light. Lin Tianhao can barely believe the spell actually worked, because he has successfully summoned a unicorn. Naturally, the corpse leader is not exactly thrilled. It releases a chilling aura as ice crystals form across its body, and its HP skyrockets. Su Qing warns that things are bad because the roaming corpse leader has entered its second stage, so Lin Tianhao needs to run. Instead, he calls for the unicorn to hurry, but then he wonders what it is doing. A powerful aura begins swirling around its horns, and it is clearly determined to attack. The unicorn releases its aura and fires a powerful beam straight at the roaming corpse leader, specifically targeting the crystal core in its chest. The attack tears through its icy armor, shatters the crystal core, and straight up obliterates the boss in a single shot. Su Qing blurts that this should be impossible because the boss has 30,000 HP, yet somehow it goes down in one hit. Meanwhile, Lin Tianhao is completely amazed by Unicorn and checks how it is doing, only to find it sweating and visibly fatigued. The system then notifies him that it is the special Frost Unicorn Beast, currently at level 1. Lin Tianhao praises how amazing it is since it actually managed to defeat the roaming corpse leader. At that moment, Slime hops onto his back, and she is tired as well. He gives her credit too, because without her help earlier, they probably would have been minced. He then checks whether the ladies are all right, while Su Qing admits she never expected to be saved by him again at a time like this before bringing up his new summoned beast. A level 1 summoned beast just defeated the roaming corpse leader, which is honestly terrifying. Lin Tianhao admits that even he had no idea its damage could reach that level. Su Qing explains that the roaming corpse leader is a dark attribute monster, while Unicorn is a dual attribute summoned beast of light and frost, so the ridiculous damage is most likely caused by the attribute advantage. Lin Tianhao accepts that explanation, but before anything else can happen, the system suddenly congratulates them for successfully killing the roaming corpse leader, leaving all three of them surprised. The system begins evaluating their rewards, and once the evaluation finishes, it announces that hidden equipment will drop. A bright light immediately shines in front of Lin Tianhao, catching him off guard, but things get even stranger when everything suddenly turns dark, and everyone disappears. Beside him floats an ominous cube. It is the legendary Purgatory Spirit Cube, a summoner-exclusive piece of equipment. Lin Tianhao is immediately confused because this legendary equipment somehow comes with negative attack and defense stats. However, the moment the system reveals its active effects, that confusion disappears pretty fast. Its first effect allows the user to store and seal a defeated enemy before summoning them into battle. Its second effect allows the soul of the deceased to be attached to any summoned creature by consuming 5 souls. Lin Tianhao wonders how ridiculous this thing actually is, since it can summon soul spirits into battle and even attach the soul of the deceased to a summoned creature, though he still has no idea what that second ability fully means. Suddenly, a light appears above him before descending directly into the spirit cube. The system immediately notifies him that he has obtained a nightmare rank leader soul. Lin Tianhao is surprised that the zombie leader's soul has already been stored inside and figures that souls can apparently still be collected for a short time after battle. Before he can inspect anything further, a white wolf suddenly lunges at him. He wonders if it is Su Qing, while she playfully checks whether she managed to scare him. Lin Tianhao admits that he thought another monster had appeared, then wonders why she has become a wolf when she was supposed to be a spirit cat. Su Qing reveals that he is not the only one who received hidden equipment because she got one too. Her reward is the epic immortal bird feather, a druid-exclusive piece of equipment. Lin Tianhao immediately notices that her attack and agility are doubled, and he cannot help wondering why something clearly classified as radiant-grade equipment somehow looks better than his legendary item. The equipment also has a passive effect that doubles druid transformation duration, along with 3 active effects. The first allows her to transform into a deadly frost wolf known for its speed, the second allows her to transform into a brown bear known for its strength, and the third allows her to transform into a powerful immortal bird fighter, though that transformation comes with side effects. Lin Tianhao has absolutely no clue what the heck an immortal bird fighter is. Su Qing admits she does not know either, but since the ability has side effects, she cannot use it freely. Lin Tianhao agrees that the battle has only just ended, so playing it safe and not testing it right now is probably the better move. Suddenly, Li Shui calls out to both of them. She is now wearing a new hat, and there is even a fairy accompanying her. Su Qing immediately wonders what that is, while Li Shui proudly declares that from this point onward, she can protect them too. Meanwhile, the fairy simply smiles while sitting on the brim of her hat. Li Shui remarks that the new equipment she gets looks pretty powerful. It is Sakron's magic hat, a rare quality piece of equipment that belongs to a set. Curious about the name, she wonders who Sakron is and why she has never heard of him. Su Qing admits that neither has she, so once they finish the dungeon, they plan to head back to school and consult the teacher. Meanwhile, Lin Tianhao checks Li Shui's new equipment and discovers one ridiculously strong passive effect. It summons a protective spirit, triples all her magic effects, and even allows Sakron to actively attack enemies. Seeing the fairy nearby, he wonders if it could actually be Sakron, because that passive is honestly absurd. Compared with something like that, his Purgatory Spirit Cube suddenly feels way less impressive. He then shifts his attention toward the unicorn and remarks that they were seriously lucky it was there, because without it, they would have been completely doomed. Su Qing tries approaching the unicorn, only for it to move away from her. Li Shui happily comments on how soft it feels, while Su Qing wonders why the thing refuses to let her pet it. Brutal favoritism right there. Still, Lin Tianhao decides they should leave first. The difficulty of the abyss has suddenly increased, and none of them know what is happening. So staying around to investigate would be asking for trouble. He chooses to exit, and a teleportation circle immediately appears beneath them before they disappear. A few moments later, they emerge from the entrance, except there are now 4 figures instead of 3. One of the men nearby blurts out that someone has come out and she is unbelievably beautiful, while another curses at him for staring at something they clearly should not be watching. Someone else compares her beauty to a goddess, leaving Lin Tianhao completely puzzled by all the commotion. He turns his head and looks behind him. The unicorn has transformed into a beautiful woman. Blood immediately sprays from his nose. She wonders whether he no longer recognizes her, while he stares at her and confirms that she is actually the unicorn. Elsewhere, one of the students urgently contacts the teacher and warns that something is wrong. The teacher demands to know what happened and urges him to explain slowly. The student reports that someone has just emerged from the rioting Black Abyss. Hearing that, The teacher immediately wonders whether anyone is injured and prepares to bring the others along, since there is no time to waste. However, the student grabs his wrist and stops him, explaining that nobody is injured and that they are all alive. Right then, everyone receives a notification. The system congratulates Lin Tianhao, Su Qing, and Li Sui for clearing the beginner rank Black Abyss, Cold Valley Abyss on Nightmare difficulty. Meanwhile, the unicorn greets Lin Tianhao as her master. He immediately warns her not to come toward him, but she wonders whether he no longer wants her. He insists that if she has something to communicate, she can just do it normally, because there is absolutely no need for all this extra business. On the other side, Li Sui calls Su Qing's attention over, wondering whether she is seeing the same thing. Su Qing looks over and spots Lin Tianhao's hand hovering over the unicorn's chest. Yeah, that timing could not possibly look worse. She becomes enraged, brands him a perv, and scratches him. Li Sui checks whether he is all right and offers to cast healing magic on him. He immediately declares that she is still the best, unlike that woman, because she is way too violent. She brushes it off, explaining that team members helping one another is completely normal. Su Qing only scoffs before placing a jacket over the unicorn. Then, Lin Tianhao notices that she seems alarmed and wonders what is wrong. Before anything else happens, Feng Yun arrives with his 2 bodyguards. Someone immediately identifies him as the principal. Lin Tianhao wonders what Feng Yun is doing there, while Su Qing comments that trouble has arrived. But to their surprise, Li Sui suddenly points out that they are over there. Feng Yun is puzzled and turns toward the direction of the voice, but before he can make sense of it, the teacher and the other students quickly move in and snatch Lin Tianhao and the others away. When Feng Yun finds no one there, he falls silent. The teacher brings them into the forest, and Lin Tianhao immediately recognizes him. He quickly shushes him, warning that they cannot let them notice, but Su Qing suddenly screams and demands to know who they are. Lin Tianhao urges her to calm down since he is his homeroom teacher. The teacher then scans the area and notices the unicorn. Lin Tianhao presses him about what is happening, and he explains that, long story short, the Black Abyss is in complete chaos. With countless people dead or injured, and judging from the situation, the culprit might actually be him. Lin Tianhao is stunned that it could be him, while the teacher immediately checks whether he contracted that summoned beast of his, the unicorn, inside the Black Abyss. He confirms that he did, and wonders how he knows, only for the teacher to realize that he really contracted it and even hatched it. At this point, he figures the old geezer has screwed him over big time and groans that he is finished. Lin Tianhao wants to know what they are supposed to do now. But before anything can be decided, Feng Yun suddenly declares that he found him. His men quickly surround them, and he orders them to seize everyone. Lin Tianhao is instantly alarmed as Feng Yun turns toward the teacher, demanding to know who he is, why he is there, and warning him to step aside. The teacher tries to explain the situation and questions whether they are still students of their school. Hearing this, Lin Tianhao wonders if the teacher and the principal are senior and junior disciples. However, Feng Yun declares that from that moment onward, they are not, because Lin Tianhao, Su Qing, and Li Sui are officially expelled. The 3 of them are stunned, but Feng Yun repeats that they are expelled. Su Qing immediately challenges the grounds for such a decision, and Feng Yun coldly uses the fact that he is their principal as justification. Lin Tianhao counters that expelling them before even investigating the truth is completely unreasonable. The teacher backs him up, pointing out that even as the principal, he cannot simply arrest people without a reason. On top of that, he has S-rank talent and is a once-in-a-century prodigy, so throwing away such a promising student is hardly a small decision. Feng Yun refuses to budge, ordering him to step aside because he does not understand and insisting that he has to take them away that day. Deep down, he knows that if they do not hurry, it will already be too late. His men immediately move to capture them, but Jingyao suddenly stops everyone. Feng Yun quickly looks behind him, while Lin Tianhao and the others are surprised to see her standing there with her guards. She looks toward him and confirms that he is the summoner who cleared Nightmare difficulty, casually noting that he is not bad-looking either. Lin Tianhao responds by wondering who this little sister is, which immediately earns a sharp reaction. She takes offense at him daring to call her little sister and introduces herself as Jingyao, the daughter of the DuPont royal family. Lin Tianhao brings up the DuPont royal family, only to admit that the name does not ring a bell at all. Yeah, not exactly the respectful reaction she was probably expecting. Feng Yun quickly cuts in, explaining that the suspects are already in custody and they are about to take them back for questioning, but An Jingyao shuts that down immediately. She declares that it will not be necessary and orders them released. Her assistant then reveals a Rift Abyss teleportation scroll, explaining that they are taking them directly into the Black Abyss. The teacher explains that he heard the century-hidden dungeon, Rift Valley Black Abyss, is appearing in a few days, but he never expected the royal family to obtain the scroll. The problem is that the dungeon has a recommended level of 20 to 50, while Lin Tianhao has only just reached level 10, meaning he will die if he enters. An Jingyao immediately dismisses Lin Tianhao as a peasant and orders him to join the DuPont royal family's Rift Valley Black Abyss exploration team. However, he apologizes and refuses, claiming that he has no interest. She sharply demands to know what he just said, but Feng Yun cuts in, explaining that although he does not want to ruin her mood, he is still their student, so they need to take him back. She coldly remarks that she hates being interrupted while speaking. The assistant points out that Feng Yun already expelled them, but he counters that they are technically still his students because their expulsion has not been processed yet. She immediately presses him on whether he is defying the royal family's orders, putting him in a seriously awkward spot. Meanwhile, Li Shui turns to Lin Tianhao, wondering what they should do. An Jingyao reminds him of his current situation, pressing him on whether he knows just how many eyes are watching him after he cleared the nightmare-level Black Abyss. He looks around and finds Feng Yun's men still surrounding them, while Li Shui and Su Qing are trapped as well. Suddenly, Su Qing declares that she is joining. Since they will get caught if they stay anyway, she sees no reason not to take the risk. An Jingyao turns back to Lin Tianhao for his decision, but the teacher immediately protests that he cannot go. This is the Rift Valley Black Abyss, and entering it at his level is basically throwing his own life away. Lin Tianhao closes his eyes for a moment before declaring that he will join. Li Shui joins as well, and An Jingyao laughs at their decision. Her assistant calls out to Feng Yun, ordering him to release them. He can only sigh before ordering his men to let them go. The teacher desperately protests, insisting that he has to stop them, but Feng Yun reminds him that he was stopping him earlier, so from this point on, they are on their own. The teacher is completely taken aback. With that settled, Zuo Sheng moves straight into the introductions, identifying himself as the DuPont royal family's captain of the Royal Swordsman Guard. Next is Lucy, the royal family's chief butler, and although she always wears a cold face, she is extremely strong. An Jingyao declares that the team is complete and orders everyone to follow her. A powerful aura suddenly swirls through the area, and the entire group disappears with it. In the next instant, they are brought directly to the palace, where maids immediately greet them. The doors open, and the group walks inside. Taking in the sheer extravagance, Lin Tianhao wonders if this is what being royalty is like. On the other hand, Li Shui quietly brings up a strange feeling to Su Qing, but Su Qing does not understand what feels off. Then, without warning, Zuo Sheng unsheathes his sword. The two of them immediately become alarmed as weapons are pointed directly at them, demanding to know what they are doing. An Jingyao mocks how ridiculously easy new students are to scam and prepares to command Lucy, only to suddenly become horrified. Slime has already restrained them. Lucy is equally terrified when she finds Slime right behind her. Lin Tianhao then presses An Jingyao on what exactly she is planning to do. She stares back at him, shocked that he has already noticed. Lin Tianhao snaps his fingers, and Slime immediately releases Zuo Sheng and Lucy. He points out that on their way there, Zuo Sheng may have looked relaxed, but his thumb never left his sword hilt, while Lucy stayed ready to draw her gun at any moment. As for An Jingyao, that one barely needs explaining. Zuo Sheng and Lucy exchange a look and smirk. An Jingyao acknowledges that this is exactly what she expects from the rookie team that clears a nightmare difficulty dungeon. His observation is sharp, but that only makes her more curious about why he still releases them when his summons have already gained the upper hand. Lin Tianhao explains that this is her territory, so if they really fight, both sides will suffer serious injuries. On top of that, her level is far above the three of them, meaning he is only proving that they are not helpless sheep waiting to be slaughtered. An Jingyao dismisses her people, and Lucy explains that the princess only wanted to test his strength before requesting that he accept her apology. Su Qing clicks her tongue in annoyance. Before they leave, An Jingyao reveals that the DuPont royalty has already prepared lunch for the three of them and invites them to join her, then leads them down the hallway. Su Qing calls out to Lin Tianhao, warning that those royals do not exactly look friendly and that they could fight them together. However, he points out that even though he acted earlier, in that situation, the two of them would die first. For now, they should go along with it and see what the other side is planning. A few moments later, Lin Tianhao notices the paintings covering the walls and questions what they are. Zuo Sheng explains that they depict the history of the DuPont royalty. An Jingyao reveals that the family has existed for thousands of years, and the founder of the DuPont royalty was a summoner. When abnormalities began appearing in the Dark Abyss thousands of years ago, they joined forces with 3 other royal families and attempted to seal it, but they ultimately lost the final battle. Her great-grandfather's soul was shattered, and from that point onward, the summoner's connection with the Spirit Stone was broken. Because of that, the summoners who came afterward gradually became stereotyped as useless, while he is the only S-class summoner to appear in 1,000 years. With that bit of heavy family history dropped on everyone like a brick, she invites them inside. Su Qing immediately calls out to Lin Tianhao, pointing out that he is obviously their target, while Li Shui wonders what they plan to do with him and whether they intend to turn him into some kind of sacrifice for their ancestors. He questions what sacrifice she is even talking about and brushes it off as the result of reading way too many novels. Only then does he notice that everyone is already seated at the table. Li Shui takes one look at the spread and remarks that it is ridiculously luxurious. Lin Tianhao gets straight to business and questions how he can help them. An Jingyao explains that the once-in-a-century hidden dungeon, Rift Valley Dark Abyss, contains clues connected to the final battle, and she believes that he is the key to finding them. Lucy reassures him that although the level of the Rift Dark Abyss is high, he has their support, so there should not be much of a problem. Better yet, all the dungeon rewards will belong to him. Zuo Sheng adds that the 3 of them are hardly weak either, since they possess crystal-grade equipment and should be capable of clearing the dungeon. Lin Tianhao immediately catches something strange and questions how he even knows they have crystal-grade equipment. And Jingyao explains that it is one of the Typhoon Royalty Sage's relics, while also being the strongest magic hat in Cyclone's magical omen set. Li Shui is stunned and questions whether the magic hat is actually a sage relic. An Jingyao leaves the rest of the explanation for the journey, and since everyone has already eaten, she declares that it is time to set off. The sudden speed of the whole thing catches them off guard. They barely finish lunch, and apparently it is already dungeon o'clock. A magic circle appears in front of them, and An Jingyao calls Lucy forward. Lucy walks into the center of the magic circle. Zuo Sheng checks whether they are ready before announcing that it is starting. Lucy touches the magic circle and opens the scroll. Her muscles suddenly bulge, and her dress rips apart as the scroll releases dark fire that circles around the room. The resulting gust of wind catches Li Shui and Su Qing completely off guard, and then the magic circle erupts with brilliant light. When the light settles, a massive door stands in front of them. The door opens, revealing a portal, and Lucy calls An Jingyao, informing her that they will be waiting on the other side. An Jingyao then turns to Lin Tianhao and checks whether he is ready, but he is clearly apprehensive. She questions whether he still does not trust them, reminding him that she should not need to explain how dangerous his situation is again, and hoping he can see the whole image. Li Shui then turns to Su Qing, wondering what they should do, but Su Qing is terrified and remains silent. Suddenly, Lin Tianhao decides that they should go, catching both ladies by surprise. He points out that they are strong, so getting carried by them is actually a pretty good deal, and there is no need to worry because he will make sure of one thing. As long as he is alive, neither of them will get hurt. That declaration leaves the 2 ladies flustered, and soon they walk toward the portal. Meanwhile, over at the Holy Golden Lion Union, Yu Hong contacts Mirong Yu with some bad news. He has just received notice that not only has the hidden dungeon, Cold Black Abyss, been cleared, but the level 80 Nightmare boss has also been killed. Song Shaolin immediately refuses to believe it and wonders if it could be them, while Pang Yi fumes that they already stole their rewards and have now taken the Nightmare boss rewards too, so he intends to take everything back immediately. Mirong Yu shuts that down, questioning why all of them are behaving like this now that they are outside the dungeon. Mirong Shui counters that their mission failed because of Lin Tianhao, and questions whether they are seriously going to let him off that easily. He becomes troubled while considering it. But suddenly, their president bursts into laughter. He is extremely pleased by how loyal they all are and calmly enters the room, causing everyone to politely bow their heads. He then offers them a chance to redeem themselves and reveals a teleportation scroll leading to the hidden dungeon, Rift Valley Black Abyss. Countless rewards are hidden inside, and any adventurer who enters and manages to leave alive will have their strength increased by a huge amount. Murong Sui points out that it is a level 10 to 50 dungeon, and with such a massive level difference, they simply cannot handle it. However, the president explains that according to reliable information, several major unions and the 4 big royal families are going to enter the dungeon and fight over its treasures. So there is no way the Holy Golden Lion Union can afford to miss that battle. Everyone is horrified. He admits that with their current strength, they are indeed unqualified to challenge the Rift Valley Black Abyss, then questions what would happen if things were a little different. At that moment, he releases a powerful dark aura, immediately making Murong Yu uneasy. The aura suddenly gathers in the center of the room and begins swirling like a tornado, spreading over everyone and throwing them into a frenzy. The president simply walks away afterward, while everyone is left with dark expressions on their faces. Murong Yu swings his arm to test his new strength, and with that single simple motion, the wall beside him crumbles apart. On the other side, Lin Tianhao and his team safely pass through the portal. Looking at the place before them, he wonders if this is really it, the Rift Valley Black Abyss. And Jingyao remarks that she already knew Lin Tianhao was a wise man, so it looks like the legends about him are actually true. He is left puzzled, while she swiftly moves toward a rock and sits on it, adding that when it comes to legends and such, she can lend him a hand. With that, she throws a card toward him, revealing the summoning card, Shadow Legion. He stares at the precious card in disbelief, wondering whether she is really giving it to him just like that. She explains that none of them can use it anyway, so it is better for him to use it right now and strengthen his power. He studies the card intently for a moment before closing his eyes. The card suddenly rips apart and releases a bright light, and from that glow, 3 masked ladies are summoned. The sight instantly catches him off guard because their bodies are way too explosive, with voluptuous chests and tight outfits. His composure completely collapses, and blood spurts from his nose. Su Qing calls out for him to wake up because he is bleeding way too much. He blurts out that, as expected of a legendary card, they are way too huge, only to quickly correct himself and claim that they are way too strong. However, he freezes again when the ladies walk toward him and address him as master. He immediately protests that they should not do that because he seriously cannot take it. Before things can get any more ridiculous, Zuo Sheng becomes alarmed as spikes filled with electric energy suddenly fly toward them. He instantly unleashes Dragon Soaring Style, Horizontal Slash, warning everyone to be careful. Li Shui and Su Qing are caught completely by surprise, while Lucy calls out for An Jingyao to be careful. An Jingyao casually remarks that, as expected, Lin Tianhao is still a rookie, wondering how he failed to notice something like this. He becomes alarmed and looks to his side. Su Qing wonders what it is, and Zuo Sheng identifies the creatures as mad demon hedgehogs, level 30 monsters. Li Sui is horrified, but he wonders what the rush is, and points out that this is only the beginning. Right on cue, the hedgehogs charge toward them. Lucy prepares herself and quickly intercepts one, landing a kick directly on its chin. However, the creature suddenly reveals another set of mouths inside its stomach, making its appearance even more terrifying. She immediately fires her gun at it, triggering a massive explosion. Meanwhile, Zuo Sheng grabs the hilt of his sword, swings once, and cuts a hedgehog cleanly in half with a single move. On the other side, Lin Tianhao is startled when another hedgehog suddenly emerges from the sand directly in front of him. He immediately calls for Slime to attack, but before she can do anything, one of his Shadow Legion jumps into the air with her hammer. She brings it down straight onto the hedgehog's head, smashing the monster into the ground. Lin Tianhao watches in awe as one of the Shadow Army slams a hedgehog straight into the ground, while 2 more charge toward An Jingyao. She raises her hands and releases her energy, forming a barrier that blocks both attacks with ease. Lin Tianhao wonders if it is some kind of protective shield and whether she is a defensive type, but she immediately clenches both fists, triggering a massive explosion that engulfs everything in flames. After hopping off the huge rock, she reveals that her class is a high-level psionicist, then questions why he is so curious about her, making him wonder if she can somehow hear what is in his heart. Looking behind him, he notices Su Qing worrying over Li Shui, who has fainted. Lucy then calls out to him, acknowledging that she knows he has plenty of questions, but the most urgent task right now is dealing with the problem in front of them. He is puzzled until a massive wild pig comes charging their way. It is the level 30 elite bristle pig king. Su Qing explains that since it is a level 30 elite monster, adventurers normally need to surpass it by at least 5 levels to defeat it, while Li Shui wonders if it is already too late for her to head back now. Yeah, the timing could definitely be better. Dark aura pours from the pig king as it barrels toward them, and Zuo Sheng quickly steps forward, draws his sword, and stops its charge by catching its tusk. Lucy immediately jumps behind it and unloads her guns, but every bullet simply bounces off its thick fur. Jing follows by gathering energy in the palm of her hand and unleashing a powerful explosion. Lin Tianhao and the others can only watch from behind as smoke spreads across the area, yet when the Pig King emerges, only a tiny amount has been deducted from its HP. Su Qing calculates that if they keep grinding it down like this, defeating it will take at least 2 hours. That seriously does not sound fun. Lin Tianhao grows worried, and after seeing Zhu Sheng's trembling hands, he wonders if this thing is really so powerful that even the royals are helpless against it. Zhu Sheng is already exhausted and sweating profusely, while An Jingyao explains that, as he can see, their attacks have practically no effect on it, which is exactly why they called him there. Lin Tianhao questions whether it is because of them, and she explains that there is only one way to defeat such a defensive monster, which is breaking through its armor. While Zuo Sheng and Lucy continue holding off the Pig King, Lin Tianhao catches on. Since the Ink Shadow Army is omnipresent, only they can penetrate the Pig King's hair armor and destroy it from the inside. An Jingyao confirms that he is right, meaning he is the only one there who can defeat him. Just then, Lucy urgently calls out that they cannot hold on much longer. An Jingyao continues that controlling the moving army while changing its form requires extremely strong mental force, and even her grandfather could only manage so much back then. Lin Tianhao responds that he knows, then calls Su Qing and Li Shui over and requests that they protect him. Su Qing transforms while Li Shui gives them a buff, and she immediately charges toward the Pig King, moving around it to serve as a distraction. At the same time, one of the Shadow Army leaps over the monster while wielding a massive hammer, swings it with overwhelming force, and slams the Pig King straight into the ground. An Jingyao is stunned that he actually learned everything on his own, and even enhanced the Ink Shadow weapon. The rest of the Shadow Army quickly joins the beatdown, bombarding the Pig King with attack after attack, and now the massive monster is completely agitated.